This video is brought to you by Green Man Gaming. Click the link below to see some amazing deals on some incredible games, which also will probably include Dying Light 2. There are a lot of zombie games, like way too many. It's not as bad as it used to be, you know, back in the day in the early 2010s. There were zombie games everywhere. Almost every single game had to have a zombie game. Even games that weren't even actually zombie games had a DLC that usually involved zombies. I'm looking at you, Borderlands 1, that fucking zombie DLC was, it was something. If you were to ask me what my favorite zombie game is, I would say without a doubt it is Dying Light, which is pretty insane because I didn't used to be a fan of Techland and their work. See, they originally made Dead Island, which is another zombie game, and Dead Island 1 is only fun if you are playing with friends, and obviously I don't have them, so I don't know where I'm going with this joke. The game's boring as fuck. That's what I'm trying to get at here. And it was missing something, you know, something that really could have amplified it. You know, it had the combat, it had the open area, it had the missions, it had the zombie types. It was just missing something, and Techland knew what it was missing. That being parkour traversal, which is why when they made Dying Light after Dead Island, well, they abandoned Dead Island. Probably some publishing rights. Obviously Dead Island 2 exists now. It's made by completely different people. Don't like that game. That game's fucking boring, but I won't talk about Dead Island 2. Dying Light is so good. And I'm talking about all three games here. Dying Light 1, Dying Light 2, and Dying Light the Beast, man. It's almost been a year since Dying Light the Beast came out, and that game, it was so good. It is so immersive, so fun. I love the combat, the parkour traversal especially, and Kyle Crane's a funny, goofy guy who gets mad at absolutely everything. He is just pissed off in that game. Now, you may have noticed that I included Dying Light 2 as some of the best zombie games, which, well, I mean, you've seen the title of this video. I'm gonna defend Dying Light 2 because Dying Light 2 is a good game, alright? I know a lot of people hate it. A lot of Dying Light purists absolutely despise Dying Light 2, and I do get it, but I also want to explain why I like it so much still, and I do kind of prefer it over Dying Light 1 and The Beast. It's still my favorite one, which is probably gonna get me a lot of hate instantly, but I mean, it's what this channel's for, man. I just gotta speak my mind. So Dying Light 2, when it launched in 2022, was kind of a disaster. First of all, it released in the same month as Elden Ring, and despite this, it still managed to sell a lot, which goes to show the power Dying Light had. But a lot of people fell off the game at launch, and I really don't blame them. It was kind of janky. There were enemy health bars for some reason, which was a completely baffling design choice when Dying Light 1 had no sight of health bars. It had RPG mechanics. You could level up your parkour and combat, but there were no health bars. So why they thought including this was a good idea? No idea. There was a lot of turbulence around the story. It was supposed to be this amazing story about different choices you can make, and had Chris Avalon working on it, you know, the guy behind Fallout, and jerking off Elon Musk on Twitter and complaining about the current state of Fallout with the sad Vault Boy icon. It's just funny. It's just funny to see. But yeah, you know, he was working on it, but then he was kicked off because of a lot of different reasons, and you can really tell when playing through the story of this game because it is an absolute shit show mess. It's just bad. It's not very good, and it deserved the criticism it got. But I felt like it was unfairly criticized because of the amount of hype around it. You know, it was announced in 2018, came out in 2022. There was a lot of time between the announcement and the release, so hype was at an all-time high, and they couldn't hit that hype. And the things it got criticized for, especially the story, I kind of like, I don't know, man. Dying Light 1 had a pretty shit story as well, and there was a lot of revisionism at the time when Dying Light 2 came out that I noticed, where a lot of people did a full 180 on the story of Dying Light 1, being like, oh yeah, this game actually had a really good story, which is why I'm disappointed in Dying Light 2. Kyle Crane was such an amazing character. I don't like playing as this Aiden guy, even though they sound almost exactly the same and act almost exactly the same. Hell, there's still a lot of people out there who still think it is the same voice actor who's voicing Aiden as Kyle Crane. They are both generic dudes, alright? They're blank canvases almost that you can customize and just play around with. Obviously, Kyle Crane's expanded on a bit more in The Beast, and they did try and expand on Aiden in the story of Dying Light 2, but the story's dog shit, as you already know, so it doesn't really matter what they do with him. Now, one of the criticisms that I didn't understand was about the parkour and combat. The parkour and combat in Dying Light 2 was just significantly better than the first game. The first game had a very basic combat system, you know, you just kind of light attack, heavy attack, a drop kick, a kick. I mean, it was still pretty in-depth for a lot of zombie games at the time. It was great, don't get me wrong, but Dying Light 2 expanded on this. You could parry enemy attacks, yeah, I know, parry slop, and like vault over them, kick the enemy behind behind them. There was a grappling hook, you could pull enemies towards you, all that stuff. Speaking of the grappling hook, you know, that enhanced the parkour of Dying Light 2 significantly. Dying Light 1 also had a grappling hook, but it just kind of, you aimed it and you went in the direction you aimed it in. That was it. Dying Light 2's was like a Spider-Man web swing type of grappling hook where you latch it onto a building and you use the momentum to swing, and it just feels so good to use, man. The parkour in Dying Light 2 is incredible. It is so much better than Dying Light 1's, and Dying Light 1's is great, don't get me wrong, but there's just so much more freedom and so many more different moves you can use in Dying Light 2. One thing at launch that did kind of bring down the parkour was there was a lot of momentum killer animation based parkour moves where all of your speed would just slow down because Aiden needed to pull off a silly little animation. And yeah, they fixed this stuff. You know, they did 2 massive updates to enhance both the combat and parkour since the launch, and it feels like a completely different game. The story's still kind of crap though. Yeah, the story isn't great, but I would take it over Dying Light 1's because of the choices you can make to kind of spice things up a bit. Yeah, it's an arse story, but you get to choose which arse path you go down and see the difference between every single arse moment in the story, or if your friend chooses a different option, decides to side with the peacemakers or the survivors, all that shit. There is quite a lot of choice in Dying Light 2, which I do appreciate. It just wasn't fleshed out to the point we were promised. Man, the E3 trailer for Dying Light 2 was insane. The amount of stuff they were showing there. They shot themselves in the foot. It's not even the same open world in the E3 trailer. So I completely understand why people absolutely despise this game. But, you know, a lot of things have changed now. Dying Light 2 isn't the same game it was at launch. It is almost completely different. Something I can't ignore though that I need to criticize is the store. Techland were bought by Tencent for some reason, and as soon as they were, they got like a microtransaction currency and opened up a storefront, which I just can't really excuse. It's fucking stupid, and I don't get why they did this. But then again, Dying Light 1 also has a million different costumes. You just don't need to buy the currency, you just buy them outright. So it's the same shit with a few extra steps. That's it really. But yeah, Dying Light 2 is still being supported to this day. I remember they had a 5-year plan for the game where they were promising new content, new events. That's another thing. Dying Light 1 also had events, but Dying Light 2 actually has significantly better events. It does the GTA 5 thing during Christmas where it actually puts snow around the map, which just feels so cool. I love jumping around in the snow. It is so much fun. They added the Halloween event has volatiles with pumpkins on their head. Actually, that's another issue at launch. The volatiles didn't come out at night. They weren't roaming unless you had like a chase level 5, which was like a new mechanic they were trying out. Terrible mechanic, might I add, but they did another update called the Good Night, Good Luck update where volatiles are now roaming around in Dying Light 2, and they added a filter where you can actually make the nights even darker than they were before. So night is very scary in Dying Light 2. It's not as scary as Dying Light 1's night, but you know, it's still pretty arse clenching, and you do get in some pretty intense chases when you go out at night with the parkour and all that. And also, I really like the parachute. I don't remember the name of it, of paraglider. Let me Google it actually, hold on. Yeah, it's called the Paraglider, and this helps you get around the city so much more. See, Dying Light 2 does what Dying Light 1 does with its open world, where it starts you off in like a pretty easy to get around area. You know, there's not many huge buildings, but there are enough where you could jump around from rooftop to rooftop, like you're playing Assassin's Creed or something, without the serious automation with the parkour, which, yeah, that's... Parkour in Dying Light is so much better than Assassin's Creed, I'm so sorry to say. And Dying Light 2 does this with Old Villador, except Old Villador feels like the final area of Dying Light 1 Old Town. It's got way more buildings, you're jumping across way more rooftops. It does feel a bit more copied and pasted, I can't lie. I think some of the buildings are just randomly generated, which does kind of suck. But when you get to New Villador, the second open world, it is literally a city. There are skyscrapers, and this is where you unlock the paraglider, and it enhances the parkour tenfold. The free flow of moving from place to place in Dying Light 2, this is one of the few games where I never wanted to fast travel. This and Sunset Overdrive are like 2 games that absolutely nail open world traversal, and sometimes I boot up Dying Light 2 and just run around the open world and just fuck about. Like, I don't know what else to say. Dying Light 2 is not the same game it was at launch, and I kind of just wanted to defend it in this video. It has a lot of issues still, you know. It's got a lot of copied and pasted areas in the big open world because they did kind of go for the bigger is better approach, and the story's still crap. Nothing can change that. But Dying Light 1 has a crap story as well, and whilst Dying Light 2 isn't as immersive as Dying Light 1, I do think it is way more fun to play. If you have a friend and you're looking for a fun open world game to play, you can't go wrong with any of the Dying Lights. But Dying Light 2 is a good one. You know, it goes down to a cheap price, and yeah, I like Dying Light 2. I've always liked Dying Light 2. Even during its rough launch, I still really enjoyed the game, and I put about like 50 hours into it at the launch, even though it has way too many issues to count. But yeah, in the current state it is, I think it rivals Dying Light 1 in terms of quality, which is probably a massive hot take, but hey, I like Dying Light 2. If you're looking for the Proxidist seal of approval, here you go. Dying Light 2 gets the Proxidist seal of approval. It is a good game, and it doesn't deserve as much hate as it gets. You know, it still does deserve some hate, like the fucking 10-cent store, like it's a fucking gacha game or live service game or some shit. I don't fucking know. It's still good though. What isn't so good though is what they're doing to the story. Like, yeah, the story isn't great, but it's kind of a mixed bag with what they're doing. Like, they keep going back and like adding new animated cutscenes and changing some sections a bit and like different missions, which, yeah, sometimes this is pretty good, but you know, sometimes it's like cutting out the entire prologue of the game, which is pretty confusing because Dying Light 2 does have a pretty good prologue. It contextualizes the world, it brings back Spike, a character from Dying Light 1, and it even references Kyle Crane. But for some reason, Techland decided to just completely remove it entirely. Not give you an option to skip it on like a repeat playthrough or your first time playing. No, it is just flat out gone. And supposedly this was to like improve the pacing and let people get to the main meat of the game quicker, but there's other reasons as to why they've done this, and I think it is absolutely insane if that is actually the truth. I'm not going to get into it in this video, but I didn't even know that this might have been a thing before I made this. So yeah, I just wanted to address it. So there's the big elephant in the room. Now, you may be questioning why this video is called In Defense of Dying Light 2, because I've done a lot of complaining about the game, and rightfully so. You know, this game deserves a lot of criticism that's thrown its way, but you can still really enjoy something whilst being critical of it. And I'm incredibly critical of Dying Light 2. I think it does a lot of things wrong. It's got a lot of stupid decisions made with it. Obviously, it went through development hell with the director changing a bunch and all the different directions it went in during development. But overall, I've put over 100 hours into the game, and it's the zombie game that I come back to the most to just take my mind off things and play around in a fun and enjoyable sandbox. And no other zombie game has managed to give me this. Not even Dying Light the Beast can give me this. Like, there's something about Villador that is just so much fun to jump around in. Dying Light the Beast, whilst it is fun because it, you know, it takes all the mechanics and the engine from Dying Light 2, which kind of goes to show that all the mechanics from Dying Light 2 are actually really good. They just weren't used the best originally, if that makes sense. Because Dying Light the Beast proves that, you know, it's a way more refined version of Dying Light 2, and Dying Light the Beast is amazing. But I don't have fun playing in that open world as much as I do with Dying Light 2. And if you have a friend as well, you can't go wrong with playing some Dying Light 2. It's just a good old time, but I don't understand what Techland are doing with it. Like, just leave it alone at this point. I think you guys have done enough with it. Just leave it as it is and bring back the prologue as well. I just add an option to skip it. I'm pretty sure that was a thing before, but yeah, I still like Dying Light 2. Thank you guys for watching this video. This is kind of me just testing the waters to see if people would be interested in a series like this, where I defend games that a lot of people don't really like, you know, in defense of. That's what this video is going to be titled, In Defense of Dying Light 2, and the next one will be In Defense of Killing Floor 3, because I like that game now. That game's had a lot of updates since its terrible launch almost a year ago, and yeah, I do like it now. I think it's good, and I kind of want to talk about how it might be worth checking out now. I have a huge list of in defense of games I want to cover, so yeah, like and subscribe if this is your first time watching, and just thank you for watching and sticking around to this point in the video. If you're still here, let me tell you about Green Man Gaming. Now, if you're not familiar with this channel, Green Man Gaming is the best place to go to buy Steam games. There'll be a link below where you can check it out for yourself. Every purchase made on there through that link helps towards supporting this channel. Speaking of supporting this channel, huge thank you to my Patreon supporters. As per usual, you guys are the absolute best. I really appreciate your support. The same goes to my channel members. You guys are also the absolute best, and I hope you enjoyed this video, even if you don't agree with me, you know? I'm not trying to say you're wrong for not liking Dying Light 2, it's just my personal opinion. I know a lot of people on the internet don't know what an opinion is, and they think I'm just like rage baiting or whatever the fuck people say nowadays, but I hope you all found it entertaining, and I hope you all enjoyed whatever food you were eating while watching, because I know so many of you eat food while watching my videos, and I hope you had a good meal or a good snack or whatever it was you were eating. Thank you guys so much for supporting me, and I'll see you all in the next one.